Welcome to Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends, the podcast where we explore life, career, relationships, and pop culture through a Christian conservative perspective. Each episode, we dive into deep topics that matter most to us women, from navigating your career with grace and confidence to watering meaningful relationships grounded in faith. We're here to empower you to embrace your femininity and stand firm in your beliefs. We'll also tackle the latest in pop culture, discussing how they align or clash with our values. Let's uncover the truth and encourage each other to live boldly and authentically. So whether you're at home or on your commute, get ready for some fabulous conversations. Grab your teacup, pour yourself some tea. Come on, girlies, we're changing culture. The views expressed on this podcast are our own and do not reflect our employers. Enjoy. Hello, you are listening to Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends. I'm Mallory.
And I'm Dannelle.
And you're listening to your new favorite pop culture podcast. Welcome to the show, everybody. Okay, so we have a lot to talk about this week. There has been some really fun and interesting pop culture things that have happened. And if you're new to the show, I just want to give you like a little bit of rundown on what we do. So there's two types of episodes. We call this a Teacap, where we talk about what has happened in this past week from a Christian perspective. But our perspective might be a little different than what you're thinking, because we're fun Christians. We're not stuffy. And we understand that like you can still have fun and be a Christian. You can still enjoy pop culture. So our perspectives might be a little different. And then I also do interviews with various people about various topics. But this week we're doing our Teacap, and we're going to be talking about just some really interesting things. Two things that I've really honestly, like, I'm so glad I have a podcast. So at the very least, even if like 3 people listen, I can just like get my opinion out on something. So there's two of the things we're talking about today for sure. That's how I feel. But anyway, before we get into that, Dannelle, how was your week? Anything exciting happen that you want to share with the class?
Nothing really crazy. I just feel like I've been going like 100 miles an hour since the new year. It feels like every single weekend there's been something. I actually have a ladies' lunch this Saturday, so I don't remember
Ooh.
the last time I had a Saturday off. So, but it's exciting. It's all fun stuff, like getting together. I'm all about community, and I don't know if you could tell, but I am a people person and an extrovert. So I'm not one of those people who's like, I need 17 hours by myself. I'm like, no, actually, can someone live with me at all times? I need to be around people. What about you? How was your week?
Literally, it was good. I was gonna say really quick, I'm in the exact same way. One thing about me is I'm gonna be doing something during the weekend. Like this weekend, I'm actually gonna be like relaxing, but I'm going to my friend's house to relax, and we're gonna like hang out.
Love it.
So it's like
Love
one thing about me, I'm going to be busy. So
Yes.
I'm right there with you.
Yes.
And my week was good. We celebrated my brother's birthday. James turned the big 30. I don't think James has been on the podcast, has he? Other than like occasionally,
Gotta get him
especially
on
like
here and
at the
ask him
beginning,
stuff.
popping in.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see. He's always wanting to come and say some stuff. If I were to have him on, it would be probably, I'm trying to think of like what I would even want to talk to him. Maybe like I would say something writing, but our friend
Yeah.
Elise, she has a podcast on the Other Girls Network you should listen to. Oops, spoilers. And it would probably be better for him to be on her podcast. But
Okay.
maybe, I don't know, to talk about something like, yeah, I should. I mean, he's always saying, well,
Yeah.
you've never had me on. You've had Elise on. You've had da-da-da on.
That's so funny.
I don't
That's
know.
so funny that I come
Yeah.
on your podcast before your brother. That's hilarious. Boom in your
Wait,
face,
that's
James.
also, yeah. Wait, that's a very good point too. I feel like I've had another one of his friends on before him as well.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so trying to think of anything else. 2 weekends ago, I had a murder mystery party with some of my friends. So fun. If you guys have not, you should totally do a murder mystery party. And I think I'm going to do a blog post about it, like where to get the packet and like the costumes and stuff like that. I think I might do that. If you guys are interested in that, let me know. I want to start doing things like that on the blog, just kind of more like community things. I also want to for anybody listening, if you have not already, join the email list on the website. I'm going to try to post, like, do more emails and like blog stuff as opposed to social media. I don't know about anybody else, but I am kind of like starting to take a little step back, and I notice a lot of people are too. So the way to like stay connected,
Mhm.
because like I still love podcasts, still love to read, I still want to connect with people, and like I think the way to do that right now, at least, is like the blog and like email list. So if you want to do that, I mean, I also have social media always, especially Instagram. You're gonna have to pry Instagram out of my hands. TikTok, but Instagram, you're gonna have to pry that out of my hands. But I am taking kind of like a step back. So if you haven't already, anyone listening, and you just listen or you're on social media sometimes and you blah blah blah, head over and like make sure you're on the email list. But yeah, I'm trying to think anything else, any other announcements.
Love your necklace.
Thank you. Let's talk about that really quickly.
Yes,
So, for those that do not know, for those who do not know, I have a jewelry store and I make jewelry as well as like I have like perfectly or like meticulously selected pieces that I think would, go well for like work and events and things like that. But this piece that I'm wearing is actually something that I made, and I actually made it to sell it, but I have worn it like 15 million times since I've made it because I like it so much. So I'm not going to sell it. And that is a problem that I do have, is I'll make something, I'll be like, "Oh, it's so cute. I love it. I love it." And then like I end up like keeping it. So,
keeping it.
but this is a
It's
necklace.
beautiful though. It's
Yeah.
gorgeous. It caught my eye immediately. So
Thank
you
you.
have such a
Thank you
gift with
so
that.
much.
Yes. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, let's get into today's
Let's do it.
stories. I'm pulling, oh, if I can do my code on my phone. All right. So, our first story, I do want to talk a little bit about, I guess it's more of like, it's not necessarily a story, but more of just like a discussion to have about International Women's Day. And this episode is going to come out, I think, March 12th, if not a couple days after that. And International Women's Day is March 8th, which is also, funnily enough, my brother's birthday. So when some of us got together after our writing group and we were joking about "Go Women" and James, like it was funny. But anyway, but yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about like International Women's Day and like why you like being a woman, like what are some of the fun things about being a woman, and like I guess just also your thoughts about being a woman, and even like being a godly woman, like what does that look like in your everyday life? That was a lot, so just
Right.
you can share whatever you
No,
want to
no, no,
share.
no. Yeah. I'll tell you right now, I was a tomboy growing up. I played sports. I had an older brother that I looked up to. I wanted to fit in with my brother and dad more so than my mom. Like I didn't want to wear dresses because it was, girly or whatever. Like I was definitely into sports growing up. But the older that I got, the more I was just like, no, it's actually really, really cool being a woman. Like it's amazing. God has created us in such specific and like just magical ways, for lack of a better word. We were just to give you a small story. I was at a baby shower a couple weekends ago, and it was all of us women sitting at the table, and we had a little baby girl sitting with us, and I was like, oh my all are like, this is awesome. And it was just so sweet. Not only like the fun dresses and the camaraderie and the food and like everyone coming together. Like at the end of that, I tell you, we broke down that baby shower in military fashion. Like you want to talk about people who can get things done? It's women. Like there was not a single person was doing too much because we were all trying to help each other. You know what I mean? Like it was just
Yeah,
there's just such a like magic about being a part of womanhood that it's just like I think you posted that video of the cheerleaders, their music went out.
yes,
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
I know, like when I think about it I cry. Yeah,
Girl, like I literally like if that's not the same energy that if you're at a bar in the bathroom, you're getting at least 100 compliments. You know what I mean? Like if you're out
yeah,
somewhere and by yourself and you're scared, you can go to a group of women and they will immediately be your friends. Like it's just we got each other, man. I don't it's just such a fun like community to be a part of. Go women and James.
I agree completely. Yeah, and James.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. I think I've shared this story on the podcast before, but there was one time in college, we had like a college bar called Above, and it was
Mhm.
me and 2 guys that I was really close friends with, and the 3 of us went out one night, and we had a great time, and it was walking distance from the school. So after we
Yeah.
left above, we're, like, walking back to our dorms, and this girl comes up to me, and she, like, puts her arm around me, and she goes, "You don't have to go with them if you don't want to." And I was like, "Oh, no, they're my friends." And she's like, you can walk with us if you'd like." It was like another group of girls. I was like, "Oh, no, I'm telling you, these are my friends. Like, I'm good. I'm good." And then her friend was like, "I think she's fine. I think she's fine." And it was just like, you know what? That was sweet. Like, that is how you do it. Like, that is what being a woman is about. It was
Girl.
really sweet.
And,
Yeah.
like, even though she didn't know you from Adam, she was like, "I'm gonna make sure this girl is okay." Like, oh my
And
goodness.
I think about
The
that
amount
all
of
the time, and I'm
Ubers
like, that
that's so sweet. That is so sweet of her. Like, the
yeah.
amount of Ubers that I have gotten for girls I don't know, and girls have gotten for me that I did like, it's just I love women.
I know. Me too. And I think about like there's just certain tiny things I think about when it comes to one of the things that people society or whatever tries to make it seem like it's like a negative is just like our ability to empathize and our ability to like really to nurture and care. And I just think that
Mhm.
is one of the things I love about being a woman. Like that is one of the things when you are, I mean, back to the cheerleading video, maybe I'll post it on the podcast page too. It's this video of these girls are at their cheer competition and the music goes out and then everybody like I'm gonna cry thinking about it. And then
I
everybody's like
know.
all the girls in the stands are like counting out the steps for them to like help them to make sure that they stay on beat and everything. And it's these are people who they're supposed to be competing with, but it's just like it's
Right.
so beautiful. And then those videos that people will post uh with that Mulan is like on a TikTok and then they'll have like
Yeah.
women just doing like just different cool crazy things or like you know when things happen it's always like the woman running up to help. It's
Yeah.
just I love it. Like it is it really is our strength and like how nurturing and um I'll share the story and oh actually I have 2 other stories I can share. So I'm gonna share this one story, then I'm gonna share a story that like hopefully the guy never listens to the podcast. But so the first story I'm gonna share is when the pandemic first happened, there was a statistic that was out. It was like 90 something percent, like a very high percentage number of female CEOs took a pay cut for to make sure that their employees were fed or like make sure their employees were still paid. And then it was another statistic that was like 80 something 90% of female CEOs leave work to make sure that they make it to their kids games and stuff like that. And they were making it seem like yeah, like these women have to make these sacrifices and I'm like actually these are all good things. They try to turn it and be like no, like women, they're just making all these sacrifices. They should just be like men. No, actually, these are good things. I think it's a good that a woman who's a CEO still will make sure she makes it to her daughter's, soccer game, still makes it to her daughter's award ceremony or her son's. Like that's really good. That's important. It's amazing that women took CEOs took pay cuts to make sure their employees were still paid. And I think things like that are just like, gosh, women, like we're just
Right.
so amazing. And they make it seem like these are like these negative qualities that we have that
Right.
like no we should be more like men. No, it's okay that you are like this and it's noble and it's like part of like who you are. And then the other thing
Absolutely.
is so there's this guy, I hope he never hears this. There's this guy I know. I'm gonna try to be as vague as possible. There's this guy I know, and he was explaining he has an allergy. And he was explaining how with the allergy he noticed that whenever he tells someone he has allergy, women will stop eating what they're eating or they'll try to accommodate for him essentially, while the men just are like, dang, that's messed up. And the way he was kind of sharing it made it seem like it was like a negative or like a I don't need you to do all that. But to me, I'm like, that's so women are very empathetic too. Like what I'm hearing is like they care about
Yeah.
you. They want to make sure you're included. And it's excuse me, it's like tiny things like that. I'm like, these are great qualities about women. And this is what makes me love women and like love being around women. Or like even when you think of some girl, I'm thinking of like some people who like women who you kind of just don't really like. But if something were to happen to them, it just you would automatically, who cares if I don't like them? I'm going to help defend them. I'm going to, be there for them. It's just, ugh, I love being a woman.
100%. I know. It's so girl coded. It's such like a girlhood. Like it's truly And it's hard to explain to men because if you're not in it, it's just it's God forbid we want to keep you alive. You know what I mean? Like God
Right,
forbid you
right.
know what I mean?
Sorry, we care and wanna.
It's kind of that like they mistake our kindness for weakness, you know.
Mhm,
They
mhm.
think, oh, she opens up, she's vulnerable, she gets down on the level of whoever she's talking to, and it's like that's what Jesus did. It's
Very
crazy
good
to me,
point.
like being open. When someone's down, you reach down to help them. You don't be like, man, I hate that. And not all men do that, but it like you said, it's usually a woman running to the scene of something first. Even love her heart, even if she's like 90 pounds and she can't really help at all, but like she's running to see what she can do. And so yeah,
100%.
no, it's I see it as a superpower, absolutely. And you know what I would say to those people who think it's negative for women CEOs leaving and going to see their soccer game? Why aren't more men CEOs leaving and going to their kids' soccer game?
That
Instead
was
of
my
being
exact
like,
thought too.
like instead of being like, wow, it's crazy that women have to juggle it all. Why aren't we expecting men? Why aren't we expecting present fathers? Like, I don't know. It's just there's
Yeah.
such a double standard with that kind of stuff.
No, I agree completely. It just, and men they have their skills and they have their talents too. But I just think like the way that women do things when it comes to, I'll say, of the matters that we've discussed, I just think it's just far more superior. I do. I really do. I love being a girl. I love and this is going to be very superficial, and I used to be like, well, I don't want to be superficial about it, but honestly I don't care anymore. I love like getting my hair done. I love getting my nails done. I love wearing bright colors. I love wearing jewelry. I love wearing lipstick. Like, to me, that
Yes,
is fun. And yes, you don't have to do all those things to be a woman, to be feminine. There are tons of tomboys, like, but I'm saying for me
exactly.
in my house, this is what I like. I like this aspect of being a woman. I love it.
Absolutely. And I feel like as women, there is more of a broad spectrum of like, there's more than one way to be a woman. Like, you have your extremely feminine, always in a dress, always have makeup done up. And you also have the women who don't own makeup at all. And sometimes they get kind of, I don't wear it. Like, you can wipe my face and I've got nothing on. And it's like, are we being cavalier about not wearing makeup? In the year 2026, like I'm happy for you, girl,
Right.
but you don't need to come for me and my lipstick. You don't need to come for me and my essence. Okay,
Right.
like that. We're
Right.
all allowed to live and let live. We're all allowed to live and let live.
Yes, I think that's such a good point too. Like, as women, we have to make sure that we're not, just because someone is not being a woman the way you want them to be, that we're not targeting them or like trying to make them feel bad, because I have a lot of sympathy for women, especially now that there's all these trans investigators, the people who are like trying to, well, this person's like their neck, and then I'll be the first defending people until they say it. Like, I can't stand that, but that's a whole nother
Absolutely.
tangent. But like, I think that we should be like, everybody can show your womanhood or whatever, however
Absolutely.
you want. I think it's totally fine. Wear makeup, don't wear makeup. Now, later we're going to talk about some things that women are doing that I don't agree with, and I will say why it's wrong. But
Yeah.
like, just regular, like how you wear your clothes, whatever.
Yeah.
Girlies, like, have fun with it. Have fun with it.
There's bigger
Now, I will
problems.
say,
Exactly.
yes, I will say, try to have a modicum of modesty. It's not going to be helpful if you're
Right.
showing every single thing, but wear whatever you want. Enjoy yourself. Wear the pants, wear the dress, wear the blazer,
Do the
curl
stuff.
your hair. Don't,
Exactly.
yeah, enjoy it.
Yes. Yeah. I have no
Before we
issue with
move
that.
on, before we move on to the next topic, I wanted to ask you if there are any women in like a TV show or a movie or something that you like really love and relate to, or a book or whatever.
Oh my goodness. I know it's so new, but not even really not new because it came out when I was in college. But when Moana is very much
Really?
like where she's so scared, but she knows she has to go after this thing, but she's like, I can't leave my people behind. Like I cry every time I watch that movie because it's very much like we have these plans that God has set for us, right? And
Mhm.
we have to dive into them in the way, do unto everything unto like you're doing it for the Lord. We have to dive in. And a small part of us is so afraid of like, well, what's going to happen with my family? What's going to happen with my friends? We're so afraid to step into it. And just her being so young and so brave and such a leader, like I feel like she's an extremely good role model for young kids, because it is scary going into in this case, the bottom of the ocean. But theoretically, life gives you many times where you're stepping out into the ocean. And so as far as Disney goes, it's one of my favorites. I cry every time I watch that one. I think that's a really good role model for kids. Yeah. And let me think of
Wow.
another one. You go with one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So really quick, I saw Moana. I think I've never really seen it all the way through. I don't think I need to see
Okay.
this movie. I didn't realize it was that deep. I need to see this movie.
Girl, I was not prepared. The first time I ever watched it, I was babysitting for this couple in Atlanta, and then she was like 4. She's like, Anna, and she goes, that means Moana. You might have to watch that like 5 times. I'm like, that's fine. So the first time I ever watched it, I'm with this 4-year-old like trying to cover my tears in the back of the room, like, you want a snack? I need a break from this.
Yeah.
Like, it was
Oh,
just so sweet. Oh my goodness, it's so sweet. It's good.
I love it.
Moana 2 is
Well,
good,
from
but Moana 1, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to see it. So when I hear the first thing I thought of, and I think it's just because it's top of mind, because I just read the book series last month, is Evangeline Fox from Once Upon a Broken Heart. That book series, that was the first time as an adult I have read a book series where I really, really like the main character. Now, I've been reading a lot because I'm in a book club, and I've really been getting into reading, and I feel like and it's a fantasy. And I feel like a lot of fantasy, the girl, and there's nothing wrong with this at all, because like there's also part of me that wants to be like this. The girl is, she's so strong and she can fight and she's this and she's that. And it's not that Evangeline is all those things. She can fight, but she's also still remains soft and sweet and like pure, and she still believed in, like, I'm gonna cry thinking about it. Like everything she went through, she still believed in love. And like that is just, oh my goodness, like that. And once again, it's top of mind, so that's like the first thing that popped in my head. But
Yeah.
that series, like that representation of like being a woman who can still, you know okay, so also there's this character Jude from the Cruel Prince series, and I really like Jude. She's my second favorite, but like I just couldn't relate to her as much because I'm not someone who is constantly fighting and this and that. I love how strong she is. It does make me want to be strong and brave like she is. And like comparing, not to put two queens against each other, but comparing them, Evangeline is just so much more like headstrong and soft, and she didn't let what the negative and all that stuff like get her down. And I'm not saying Jude did, but like it's just such a complete like contrast. Love them both, but like
Yeah.
Evangeline is just, whenever I think of like a really good representation of like womanhood and like being, soft and kind and
Yeah.
still being brave, and like she still stood up for herself when she needed to, but at the same time she was able to let someone else take charge when they need it. It's beautiful. I loved it.
That's
But yeah.
awesome. I need to check those
Yeah.
out. I am trying to become more of a reader, but I am sadly still not. So I should try. I should start with what's this? What is it?
Once Upon a Broken Heart.
Once Upon a Broken Heart. Okay, you're gonna
And
have to text me.
I Okay, and I listened to it through Libby. If you have a library card, you can listen for free.
I do have a library card. Okay,
Yeah,
great. All right.
download Libby. I'll send you all the details. Download Once
Okay.
Upon a Broken Heart. Like it is my favorites.
Wonderful.
I'm going to buy. I listened to it, but I'm going to buy like a special edition copy that she's doing, and
Love it.
I'm all in. Like
Yeah,
I love the series. But
love
anyway,
it too. Oh my goodness, I love that so much. That's so crazy. You have triggered one of my favorite one of, in media that I think gets overlooked a lot is, now granted, the lead on this show, questionable, we all know, but Claire Huxtable, honey, I mean, lawyer, but also so soft as a mom, and was there for all of them, and was like drying their tears, but
Wha-
also would go to work and be
yes.
like, this is how it's gonna, like, she was such good representation, not just for
Wow,
Black women, but
good
for
choice.
women. Like
Yeah.
as you were talking and you said she was strong but also soft, that's what she came to my mind when you said that. And I
Which,
mean, she was written beautifully. Like her character was just was full time like hardcore lawyer, but also full time like mom loves you. Come to mom first, and I'll try to ease your dad into. You know what I mean? Like just very much a safe,
yeah.
a soft place for her kids to land, but could also hold her own in corporate America. And it's like you can't get like best of both worlds like with Claire Huxtable, in my opinion.
Yeah. Wait, I didn't even, really good choice. Really good
Oh,
choice.
you
I'm
jogged
trying to
my
think of
memory on that
who
one.
I'm trying to think of who else. I should have like written down 3 because I am the one who asked this question.
You're fine. Do you know what else? A little tangent. Do you know what else media likes to do? Media likes to, she's a soft girl who's in love, or she's the hard girl who goes after her career. Like, it's really, really hard to
Right.
find ones that are exactly like you're saying.
Yeah. No, you're
Yeah.
so right. It's either she's like, I have a, oh my gosh, how could I forget? Elle Woods. Okay. One of the things that I
You are Elle
love,
Woods, actually. Let me just say, you
thank you
are
so
Elle Woods.
much.
You're
Thank you. That is
so
like such a
welcome.
high compliment. One of the things I love about Elle Woods, and I'll say this because technically she's a villain, but not really, Sharpay Evans. One of the things I like about those 2 women are how they are unapologetically girly and feminine, and they are
Mhm.
still fight for what's right and what's for rightfully theirs. Now, we'll take out Sharpay for a second. I'll talk about Sharpay in a minute. Let's just talk about Elle Woods. I think is a great example of being kind, feminine, and also I saw this, maybe it was like a TikTok or something because it's around the anniversary, I believe, or like the new show's coming out, and they were just kind of talking about different things about the movie, and it was saying how they did a great representation. None of her friends really knew why, or like they weren't really fully understanding that she needed to go to law school, but they were still helping her. They were still encouraging her. Like that is so good. I
So
love that.
supportive. They were like, why
They
are
were
you
so supportive.
best at it?
Yeah, they were so supportive. It was beautiful. I love that movie. I love how, like, even when, people were doubting her, she still pushed forward and she didn't waver on who she was. Oh, just thinking about it. Maybe I might watch the movie this weekend. It's such a good movie. And
It's
Elle
so
Woods is
good.
such a great example of like that femininity that's also strong and like that still remains soft. Because I think like
Mhm.
that's like the overall thing, at least for me. I don't want to, if people don't want to, if other girls you hear this, you're like, I'm not like that, then that's fine. But for me, I want to be strong, but still have a soft heart. Like that is,
Yeah.
and that's something like as a human, I struggle with, but like I still want to be strong. I want to, like the Proverbs, in Proverbs 31, she's clothed with strength and dignity. When I think of that, I think of a woman who is, um, like unwavering in her beliefs and values and
Mhm.
still has a soft spirit, a soft countenance, a kindness and that's the type of person I want to be. Like Elle Woods is a
Absolutely.
great example of that.
Yeah. Yeah, she
But
absolutely
yeah,
is. Yeah, I mean, the Proverbs 31 woman is just, she is so sure in herself because she is so sure of who God sees her as. And I think that we can fully step into our femininity and fully step into our strength as women when we remember God made us. God loves women. Like I heard that
100%.
quote this past year, and I just, it has just stuck with me. I don't know if you know the Bevere's, John Bevere and his wife Lisa
Yes.
Bevere. I'm sure you're
I've met
familiar
Lisa
with them.
before. She's great.
Very
Yeah.
jealous. Oh my
We
god.
were at a
She said
conference. Yeah.
she said she was going through her like hardcore, like I can do this, like I don't need anybody, kind of not feminist because she's always been raised in the church, but kind of feminist moment. And she was telling God all the reasons that she doesn't want to be a woman and how she could be seen, she takes on these like masculine attributes, and like, wouldn't you love me more if I was stronger in this way? And she just heard God say, I love women, I made women. Like I am a
Yeah.
fan of women. And then that kind of like through her whole perspective. Like I'll have to find the interview and I'll send it to you because it is it was so good for me to hear. Like God does love women. It's so such a
Yes.
simple sentence. Like duh, but it hits different.
I
Yeah.
agree. And yeah, send that to me because I'll link it and I
Okay.
actually want to see it too.
Perfect.
While you were talking, I was trying to there was like this post I saw about like the things how God loves women. But before I look for that again, I wanted to say too, I think that in culture, intentionally or unintentionally, sometimes there's like this sense of like, well, we have to be like men. And I don't even mean like when it comes to like politics, but I mean even like in our simple like day to day in corporate America. For example, I
Mhm.
had my friend Morgan on who works in corporate America and who is like she was high up at her job and now she anyway. So I had her on in a series that I did about, being a good Christian steward and following what God has called you to do. And she made a comment that was it more actually? Okay, sorry. It could have been Morgan or someone else. Anyway, someone
Mhm.
during the series made this comment about how like in so for example, when in corporate America, at least I'll say for my job. In my job, sometimes I notice that like when things need to be like, oh, we need decoration for the office or something like that, it's always kind of like, okay, Mallory, like it's almost thrust upon me. Which, there's a part of you that's like, why are they doing that? They don't they're just assuming but hey, I'll be honest, I love decorating and things like that. So like I'm literally going against like something that I genuinely like just because I have this perception of like I can't be into these things. But
Right.
I can't remember who the guest was. Whoever I had on was just saying like these aren't negative. Like we made these things negative. It's okay. They're asking you because they could be making an assumption, but like women do make things beautiful. Like women do
Mhm.
beautify things. That is part of like what we do. Like that's our calling. Like even when the women were going to Jesus' tomb they were going to add incense, they were going to like help with his body. Like that's just kind of like what we do. And instead of like being, defensive and all upset over it, it's okay to like embrace it. Be like, you know what? Yeah, maybe if we do this, add this to there. And I think
Mhm.
that has like really helped my perspective in a lot of things and just like reminded me like there's so many times where we feel like we have to be like these strong women and not saying you don't have to
Right.
be strong, but like you have to be like men to be accepted in society in a myriad of things when or even like actually, no, I'm not gonna share that story. I might share it with you offline, but like, there's just so many instances where like we think we have to be like these like people who are just like the men and like you know what the men don't go to their child soccer game, so why should I? When it's like no,
Right.
it's okay to do the feminine thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay to have a human side.
Yeah.
I You know what I mean? Like I totally get where you're coming from because spoiler alert, I'm also the person they ask to decorate the office when there's like birthdays and something coming up. We'll do like a whole board for the birthdays.
Yeah.
But I'm always reminded like no offense to men again. We're not downing men. And a lot of men get have fun with the office decorating too, but I think of that office episode where Dwight printed out that banner that says it is your birthday.
Yes. No, that the fact of the matter is you can say whatever you want to say. That is how a lot of men are. We it's just how it is. They don't know. It's just how it is.
We have a bulletin board
That's
and it's a
funny.
theme, right? Valentine's Day for February, St. Patrick's Day for March. Like there's a theme. We put one man, I'm not going to say his name, he knows exactly who he is. We put one man in charge of it for 1 month. You know what he did? He put everybody's name on a blank sheet of paper and he stuck it to the bulletin board. It's what
And
he did.
that's
Girl,
and that's what I'm saying. A woman could never, would never.
would
That is
never be at the first Hobby Lobby on our lunch break, like
no,
it's just so funny.
literally.
Some things we are more detail oriented in that, and like you said, instead of saying they're like they're making me like they're only doing this because I'm a woman, it's like sometimes yeah, they're only picking you because you're a woman. You see the things that love men's heart to death. They just for some reason their brain doesn't work that way. Again, not all men, but they're just, I mean, they're not picking out the flowers,
Yeah, and that's okay. That's
Yeah, that's
okay.
okay. That's okay. That's fine.
Okay, I
But
cannot find this post about
oh, it's okay.
women and the Bible. And it's okay
Yeah.
because we definitely need to move on. But anyway, love woman, love being a woman. Yay, girls rule. And
Girls,
boys
girls, girls.
drool.
Boys drool in your face, boom in your face.
Yeah. Okay, so our next story, um, let's let's just do this. Okay, so our next story is something that has kind of been weirdly going viral for whatever reason. It's about Mr. Timothée Chalamet, and I'm gonna play this clip that is very controversial, which I have lots of thoughts on it, and then like we'll like discuss it. Okay, so let me. Okay, sorry everybody. Play it from the beginning. Okay. All right, 1 second, everyone. Just give me. Okay.
Working in ballet or opera or things. I don't want to be working in ballet or opera or things where it's like, hey, back to the ballet. I just lost 14 cents in viewership. Took shots for no reason. It's not a shot. I hear what you're saying. Yeah. So.
Okay, that was incredibly awkward. Like
McConaughey
that.
tried to save him. I know. McConaughey tried.
Yeah. That was like, well, two things. I get what he was trying to say. I don't understand like why he said it the way he said it, and then he's trying to recover was so awkward. I've seen the video like 3 times now, and I'm just like secondhand embarrassment how he was trying to recover. That was just so awkward. Really quick, I want to say like my thoughts on this. First, really quick. So when I first heard about the quote going viral, I thought he had said something like ballet and the opera suck. No one goes to those anymore. Boo, boo, boo. Like that's how everybody made it seem. And then I looked at the video and I'm like, what he's just saying is that a lot of people are not going to the ballet and opera, and like the ballet used to be big. I mean, everybody was good. It used to be this big thing, and now it's just kind of not. And he wants to stay with movies, and he doesn't want movies to go that same direction. And once again, the way he said it was weird. His little awkward laugh was just weird. It was like an awkward conversation. But I do think it's a very interesting observation, and I do think he has a good point because when we think about it, I mean, how many people have been to opera? I will say I've gone once when I was in Muscat, Oman, and it was really fun. I mean, it was part of the experience, but I've only been to one opera. Couldn't tell you the name of it. And to be honest, I barely remember like what it was about. It was just really cool that it was the opera and we had to like dress up and everything. And it's a Muslim country, so we had to wear like abayas and like cover our head. So it was really interesting experience. And like I have been to different ballets because I did ballet, and like I just have a different relationship with ballet than I think a lot of people do in general. But that's because like I was exposed to it and a lot of people aren't exposed to it because also ballets and operas are kind of expensive. Swan Lake is coming to Charlotte at the end of next month, and my friends and I were literally just talking about going, and the tickets are like almost $200, and I would pay that because that's a sacrifice that I want to make because that's something that I am really wanting to do. Like I've said before, I want to do look more on the arts. Like I have friends that do plays. I want to be more intentional in going to their plays and things like that instead of doing other things. So like I'm making that sacrifice, but some people don't want to make that sacrifice, so there's not as many people going to them. It's not as, and to go to the movies it's like 10, no it's not, it's like $20, but $20 is a lot less than 200. So I get where he's coming from. Hopefully maybe this will get people to like want to go to the opera and ballet more. But yeah, those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts?
I think that is what has happened. I think it's been like, whether unintentionally or intentionally, like the exposure on like TikTok and YouTube Reels and Instagram. Like nobody was, no, I won't say nobody. Again, I grew up playing basketball, so I was not in the realm of, I adore ballerinas. I think they're so so strong. I watch like ballerina like What I Eat in a Day, and it's like they're literally this skinny, and they eat like
No,
a linebacker.
seriously.
Girl,
Yeah,
it's a
it's
whole
crazy.
workout. Like there's
Could
not
never.
another sport on this planet that I respect like I do ballerinas. Like the absolute just turmoil that they put their body through to be able to do their art, like it is unimaginably, like it is a huge sacrifice, and they're athletes, they're the top of their sport athletes, like
100%.
they're,
Yes.
girl, that is hard to do.
Yeah.
But so I think there's been a resurgence. I think people have become more aware from his comments, which if I don't think that's what he intended, but that's what's happened. People are like,
Yeah.
actually, what? Get out of here, Timothy. I'm gonna go this weekend. And like you said, they are expensive. Like in Charlotte, it's 200. In New York, tickets are close to 1,000 each. Like to go
Oh my
to like
God.
the
Yeah.
super fancy one. I guess super fancy.
Yeah.
I know any of the things, but you know what I mean. Like it's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
much it's very much a either you're in it and you understand it, or you just a part of a tax bracket that you can just blow $3,500 and take your family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To the
Yeah.
ballet, to the opera. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say you have to, for average people like us, we're average. We're trying to, you have
Yeah,
to want to do it. You have to like sacrifice something else. It has to be something intentional.
absolutely.
Whereas going to the movies, you can just be like, yeah, I'll go to. You want to see this movie? Yeah, I guess I'll go see. Like it's not,
I guess
$20.
right.
That's fine. And I think that, but now I could be wrong, but my understanding is like when the ballet and opera, when all that stuff first came out, it was still kind of like high class, but
Hmm.
I do think that it was a little bit more accessible. Now, I think people who were considered poor probably still didn't go, but I do think the middle class could go more. I think that
I think it'd
was
be more of
it.
an event. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely,
And now it's
absolutely.
just kind of like you gotta, especially the opera. I mean, I don't even know,
Yeah,
and like not to sound ignorant, but like I'm sure there's
yeah.
operas in Charlotte, but like where and when? I know there's
Right,
a symphony. The
right,
symphony
right.
comes a couple times, but like what
Yeah.
about
It
opera?
kind of reminds me of, and this is a horrible comparison, but like opera to movies that Timothée Chalamet is in is kind of like tennis to like American football. Like you're just gonna have more exposure, but the people who like
Yes.
tennis are mega tennis fans. The people who like
Yes.
ballet are mega
Yeah.
ballet fans.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
comparing apples to oranges, but I mean, I see where he's coming from. Did you know his mom was a ballerina? I found that
I
out through
saw
all
I
of this.
yeah.
I was
Yeah, I
like,
saw that because every for whatever reason people are like, I guess, misunderstanding.
they're
I don't know what
dragging
it
him.
is, but
They're
yeah, they're
dragging him.
dragging him. And I'm learning so much about him. I didn't know
Me
he was
too.
also
I
his
had no
dad's
idea
friend. His dad
what
is
Marty
friend.
Supreme was about until this happened.
Same, same. I'm still a little I think it's like ping pong, right? Like he's a ping pong
Ping
player or
pong.
something.
That's all I know.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm learning so much. But yeah, those are just
Right.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, and
But
hopefully,
it's very
maybe
much like
no, sorry, go ahead,
yeah,
go ahead.
it's very much like if you come on that same vein, if you come for a tennis player that somebody really likes, they're gonna have a lot to say to you. So Timothy came for the ballet and the opera. He didn't realize how down those fans are. I don't think he
No,
realized that they were
seriously.
gonna come out of the woodworks, buddy. Like, and
Yeah.
with social
I
media,
mean,
everything becomes more of a thing than it ever was before.
yeah, I
Yeah.
saw like a clip that Whoopi Goldberg from like The View was commenting. I'm like, wait, why is she?
Wait,
It can't.
what?
Why is it so big? She called him like, let me see, like, because my friend sent it to me, and he was like, I can't believe
Oh
that
my
everybody's still
goodness.
talking about this. So Whoopi,
Whoopee.
she said she called Timothy shallow, vapid and shallow, and it's like, what? I don't think it's really not that serious. It's
Girl, are
truly,
they running out of things to talk about? That's so funny. Oh
yeah,
my goodness. No, it's.
truly not
I
that
think he's just.
serious.
He's so young. He's pretty young, isn't he? I think he might be like
Girl,
25, maybe
I think
26.
he's our age.
Is he really?
Let me see.
Oh shoot!
I'm
Here I
pretty
was about to
sure
look
him
up for
and
him.
because he and uh what's her name, Zendaya's man, up until last recent years they were interchangeable to me. They were the same person, and they're all our age. Yeah, Timothy is 30,
Oh
1995.
my goodness,
Yeah,
golly! I was gonna try and stand up to take up for him a little more than that. I was gonna say, yeah, everybody made dumb comments when they were young, but he's a whole 30.
nope, he's 30.
Yeah, I think without social media, this wouldn't have blown up so much because I'll
No,
tell you, you know what's fun is watching ballet on Instagram, like when they get to their little quick moments. So this was a good trend to pop off because it's like been beautiful watching all of them be like, this is an art.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
seriously, you guys, good job. Can I have your autograph? You know?
Agreed completely. So let us know, what did you guys think? Do you think he was right? Do you think he was like out of line? Do you understand why people are acting kind of bizarrely upset over this? Or do you think people are just like overreacting and this is like a nothing burger and there's no reason for people to be responding this way? Let's just do one more story because we're almost at an hour.
Perfect, yeah.
Let's do the polyamory story and then we'll do the other story next week. So I really want to talk about this when I saw this going viral on TikTok.
Yeah.
This is about this lady. Her name is Lindy and her polyamory journey. So this is from People magazine. Best-selling writer cried when husband said he would date other people. Now they are all happily in a triad. I just feel, quote, I just feel so much more freedom for myself, end quote. Says Lindy West of her journey from then to now, quote, I have two people who love me instead of one, end quote. 11 years ago in 2015, Lindy had the perfect wedding to musician and performer. I'm just going to call him A. 4 years after that, Wes, the stepmom to A's two children, he was slipping through her fingers when he began dating another woman. 7 years after that, Wes and her husband are happily settled into what she calls a triad with another woman, Roya Arizbazalani. These are names I'm not aware of. All three are partners in their relationship, both romantically and sexually. Wes, a popular writer, comedian, and memoirist. Honestly, I had never heard of her before this, by the way. She helped adapt her 2016 bestseller Shrill into a Hulu series starring Saturday Night Live alum, looked back on her journey and talked about the widespread stigma and controversy around polyamory in the recent interview. Appearing on the Modern Love podcast to promote her book, Adult Braces, West spoke candidly about her changing thoughts on non-monogamy and making it work for her. The possibility was introduced to her now husband, who she calls into the relationship after they got back together following a 2011 breakup. She said, A was like, I've been divorced twice by age 27. And I feel like possessiveness and jealousy had a lot to do with both of those relationships collapsing. I don't think monogamy is healthy for me, West told The Times. It took years for her to find not just peace and eventually join her marriage through polyamory. Now, there's a lot of things. I said a lot right there. There's a lot to be discussed. Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I didn't listen to, maybe I need to go back and listen to, because I read the interview in the New York Times article. And from what I gathered, just from how I read it, she very much, and this is just how this is how I felt. If she says something different, this is all allegedly. It felt like while she was going through her therapy journey, like he was doing this regardless. Like he was doing this when she wasn't comfortable with it happening. He was still doing it. Divorced twice by 27. This seems like a man who maybe doesn't need to get married. Like there are people who are bachelors for life, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think one woman would have ever satisfied him, and she seems like a very hardworking girl. I mean, like you said, she's had a lot of success in media. I think she saw him as a project. Like, I can convince him that I am worth. She even says that at one point. She's like, I'll just be the best girlfriend, and I can convince him that he only needs one. Fast forward to where he ends up dating this other girl, and she's going through all this therapy to try to cope with him dating this Roya person, and she's like finding herself and going through all this. To me, it felt like she was convincing herself. She was,
100%.
this is my reality. This is my reality. I either hop on board. I really, really love this person. I either get with it or get lost is kind of how I read that. And then she ends it with, oh, it's so beautiful. Like Roya is amazing. And we all are all together here. But it makes me wonder how much of that had to be her convincing herself.
Mm-hmm.
It breaks my heart because going in, she did not want this. She wanted a monogamy relationship, and it feels like she has had to settle to keep this man, is how I read it. Now, if I'm out to lunch, I'm out to lunch, but that's kind of how I saw it.
And I think that's how everyone has seen it. Now,
Yeah.
if that's not her truth, she certainly didn't relay it that way. From this article the clip that I read, and like from other things I've read about this woman, because like I said, like it's been going viral on my TikTok, everybody's talking about it. It seems like she had to like convince, like you were perfect in your, she convinced herself she had to be with this guy. And
Yeah.
to me, that's like number one lesson, young girls listening, old women listening.
May
like,
that love never find me. May that
no,
love never
seriously,
find me.
if you have to convince yourself, like she in this article or something else I read, she like cried, think like if you're
Yeah.
crying, the idea of that means you don't want to do it, and it's
No.
okay. You don't have to do it. It is just really crazy to me. I think like, so I saw another video where this woman was talking about it. So the woman so Lindy is a bigger woman, and she went viral or something like that for being like plus size, and like she's like a plus size leader. That's what they're saying, right? Once again, never seen her a day in my life. And she made a point. So this woman was saying like how if you are forcing yourself, it's also just like a bad look. You're supposed to be this leader. You're forcing yourself to be in this relationship with someone who clearly doesn't respect you and doesn't even really want to be with you, because if they're finding someone else, that means they don't want to be with you. I'm sorry. Like, and I know people don't like that. And like, maybe it's a hot take, but like, if someone wants to be with you, they will be with just you. If they really don't want to be with you, they'll be with other people. They might like you, but like if they want to be with you, they will be with just you.
Right.
And I think that like it's just not a good leadership. It's not like it is such a bad stereotype that you're like literally trying to mold yourself into this to have this man be what you want. And apparently in another interview that she's done in the past, she made a comment like, he's the first man to ever like really love me for who I am. So you feel like you have to, I guess she felt like she had to be like indebted to him. And it's like, damn, like that loneliness of not wanting to be alone. Trust me, I get that. But like, I mean, if you're sitting here crying because you don't want to do this, and then he's still, that's the other thing too, you pointed out, he was going to do it either way, whether she agreed to it or not. So what, did she even really have a choice? It's just it's such a messy, and it's supposed to be like this empowering thing that's supposed to be like, yeah, my husband wanted non-monogamy and I let go of these biases that I had, and I said, yeah, let's be polyamorous with this random girl that he was going to date anyway, and I'm empowered. Like that's how the article is, like that's how she's trying to make us think, and it's like,
it feels.
Yeah, and it's like, no, girly, like I feel bad for you actually. Like,
I know.
blink twice if you need help. Like, it's actually insane.
100%. It's actually really, really scary because like walking through her thought process during this interview, if she was completely honest, that's what it looks like a hostage situation. Like, and I get it. I get it. Like I've been in one, maybe two very serious relationships in my life, and I'm 32 this year. It A lot of people have comments about that, but I'm very much someone like I don't need to be with somebody just so I'm not with myself. You know, like I don't need to be I'm fine with who I am right now, and I would need someone who like adds to my life, not where and I get it, all relationships have compromise, but I don't need to be in a relationship just so I'm not alone. And I get where she's coming from. That love can be, it sounds like a toxic situation. So that love may even be addicting, Mal. It might be a drug for her, which it can absolutely be. I mean, there's a reason the most toxic couple breaks up every 3 months and gets back together. Like it becomes, it's wired into your nervous system. And her nervous system has told her she can't go on without this man. So she's going to she's going to put everything away in her brain that she has to stay with this man. All the red flags gone, all the biases that she was holding on to out of here. Like she's doing everything to keep her nervous system calm. And I mean, to me, she was completely abandoning herself. Again, she might not feel that way, but that's how it came across to me.
Yeah. I think, and let's really quick, because we're working on time, but let's talk really quick about the point you made about not it's okay, like you should not be with someone just because you don't want to be alone. I think so. I'm about to be 30. Well, I'll be 32 in November. Both of us, we will be 32 at the end of the year. But
Nice.
the point is, woo, the point is, we are older women and we are single, and especially as Christians, like coming from the Christian world, and we're both like live in the South, like, I have friends younger than me on their like third baby. Okay. So it's this like feeling or stigma or whatever that you have to be with someone. And I don't think either one of us are against that, in the sense of like, we desire to be married, but it's so important to make sure that you are marrying the right person, that even if you have to wait a little bit longer, it's just so much more important to take your time to find the person that is going to, be healthy for you, that's a God-fearing man, that's going to love you and protect you. And like, he wants, to one of my friends, when her husband proposed to her, he said something like, I want to help lead you and our future family to heaven. Like, that's, and I'll never forget that. And like, that is, I know. And like, that is what I want for all of us. And that is the goal, to find someone, not just to find someone who's like that, not just to find someone that will be like, oh yeah, he tolerates me. And it's easier said than done. It's easier said than done, because like, the loneliness it does happen. There are moments where you are lonely, but I just think it's almost dangerous. You're gonna find
It's
yourself on
exactly.
podcasts talking about how you had to compromise your values
Yes,
to
yes.
have another woman in your bed with your husband. Like,
With your
that's
husband.
how serious this is. If you don't, work
It's
hard
dire.
to,
It's actually
yeah,
dire.
it's dire. You cannot like waver on this, or you're gonna be looking crazy on a podcast talking about how you hated that your husband didn't want to be monogamous and you cried, but then you force yourself to be okay with it. It is
Right.
that serious. So take your
Yeah.
time, ladies. Like, it's just so much. It's so much better to marry late than marry wrong.
There's no medal for getting married at the youngest age possible. There's no medal
Right.
for that at all.
Right.
Like,
Right.
hang in there
Yeah.
for the one, and it shows that you trust God. It shows that you trust his timing, and he knows better than us. And anytime you try to push, when you feel like you're pushing and you're like, this is my person, I know this is my person, and you know deep down God has given you discernment on if it's your person or not. And if you're trying to push and
Mm-hmm.
push, he might hand you over to them, and you have a horrible 5 years, and you have to come back to God and be like, hey, yo, you were right. And he's like, I know, because I'm right all the time. But
Yeah.
yeah, like you said, now you're on a podcast. You know what's scary to me is those headlines that are like, I don't know who I married, or you won't believe who I married, and it's like a 40-segment TikTok. I don't want to be on a 40-second TikTok
No.
segment.
No.
Like, my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah, that, or like people who are like, I married this guy, and then, one thing happened, all of a sudden, like, he packed up his stuff and left, and it's just like, oh my gosh, you guys, like, and like, she has like 2 kids or whatever, and like, he just packed up and left, and it's like, that's so scary.
So
I'd
scary.
rather
Scary.
I'd rather not. I'd rather just wait. And like,
Yeah.
another thing too, that's just like a side note, is I think
Yeah.
for me, what has helped a lot is like keeping yourself busy, having activities, doing things,
Friends.
building a big friends, making a good
Yeah.
community. And I think like
Yeah.
that keeps you grounded. And like, ideally, I think, not maybe not all my friends, but the majority of my friends would be like, hey girl, you're talking about this polyamory thing, and do you want to, let's come stand over here, let's talk a little bit, and knock me out and kidnap me until I say that I'm going to divorce him.
Yes.
Like, i
Yes.
I feel like I have friends like that, and like, I think that is really like, that is what's important. That's more
Yeah.
important than like trying to check off this box that like, okay, I got married in my 20s or whatever.
Right.
So,
Right. Absolutely. And just to tie it all back in to like international women and being, Amy Poehler has a podcast, and she had Regina King on not too long ago.
ooh,
And
love her.
she goes, if she's so amazing, she's drop dead gorgeous, has not changed a day. She
I
goes,
know.
if you ask a man who their best friend is, this is kind of like when you get to a certain level of marriage. Like if you ask a man who their best friend is, they're going to say their wife. But if you ask a woman, they really have their friends. So she's going to say
Yeah.
Lisa. like women maintain friendships throughout their life, man. Like we're
Yeah.
just stick with your friends, and then when God brings you your man, you will know. You will know. He won't.
Yes.
He's not a God of confusion. He is not a God of
Yes.
confusion.
And ideally, you'll have good friends that will call you out if something is wrong with him, because sometimes we don't
Yes.
see it. Sometimes we don't see
Right.
it. Sometimes
Right.
we have
Absolutely.
our glasses
Love
on, and
goggles. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
And hopefully you have those good friends that'll be like, "Hey, girly, like you're doing some crazy things
Surround
right
yourself.
now." Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Well, let us know what you think. If you guys are you pro polyamory? I'm just joking. I feel like I'm not pronouncing it right. Is it polyamory? Whatever. If you're pro that, if you would join a triad, which I thought they were called thruples, but maybe when you're married, it's called a triad. I don't know.
Maybe it's
I'm not in
triad.
that community. So yeah, let us know if that's something that you're interested in, or if you think that she's insane and you feel sorry for her and we should be praying for her. Let us know that too. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you share this with your friends and leave comments, like, subscribe. You want to add anything else?
No, I think this was a good one. Again, I love being a woman.
Yes, and we'll end on that. I love being a woman too. Go girls, 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 girls. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.